my amazing viewers. Thank you so much for joining me on my program once again. I appreciate you wherever you are connecting from. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please kindly subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell so that you'll be notified each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. Thank you so much and remain blessed. Whenever you look my video, whenever you watch my video, share the video to all platforms. Share it to family and friends. Share it in your WhatsApp group so that people can get information on what is happening in the contraption called Nigeria, mainly against the Biafrans, against the Duduas, against the indigenous people in the contraption called Nigeria. I try as much as possible to set the record straight. I don't preach hate speech. I don't speak against people. I set the record straight. The only important thing I do here is to make sure that the plight of the people remains on the front burner and the world will know the true story of what is going on in the contraption called Nigeria.
And speak about some legal issues, well, which may tilt into some moral aspect of our lives. Two former governors of Taraba and Plateau State who were jailed for stealing their state monies and are currently behind bars may be free men walking free, all things being equal. Yesterday, the Council of State endorsed the granting of clemency, pardon, and prerogative of mercy to 159 out of 162 applications presented to it for consideration. Former governors of Taraba State, Jolly Yame, and former governor of Plateau State, Joshua Darie, were among those granted pardons. The Attorney General of the Federation and the Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, made this known when he addressed State House correspondents on the outcome of the Council's meeting presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari. Take a listen to the Attorney General of the Federation on this issue of presidential pardon.
Convicts were recommended for presidential pardon. Deceased, those that were convicted but have died, one was recommended for posthumous presidential pardon. Inmates recommended for presidential clemency, 27 were presented. Inmates recommended for reduced sentences for their terms of imprisonment, 13 were presented. Inmates recommended for reduced sentence from death row to life imprisonment, 10 were presented. In total, about 162 persons or convicts were presented for the consideration of the President for pardon and mercy. The Council considered the report and the submission, and at the end of the day, supported and advised the President to grant pardon, mercy, clemency, respite, remittances, and concessions to about 159 people.
So you've heard the explanation on which the President stands. But does the President have power to do that? Yes, he does. And it's captured in the section 175 of the Nigerian Constitution. If you want to take a look at it, there I can give you on your screen so you have an understanding which will form the fulcrum of our conversation tonight. The section 175 of the Constitution says the President may, in subsection A says, grant any person concerned with or convicted of any offense created by an act of the National Assembly pardon, either free or subject to lawful conditions. B, grant to any person respite either for an indefinite or for a specified period of the execution of any punishment imposed on that person for such an offense. Substitute a less severe form of punishment for any punishment imposed on that person for such an offense. Well, it goes on and on and on. 175, if you have the Constitution, you can take a look at it. But let's get some legal thought on this one. So the Advocate of Nigeria, Jibin Okutapa, joins us tonight to give insight on this and his views. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Shehu.
When the former administration of Goodluck Jonathan pardoned the former governor of Biafra State, the late Depre Alamasiga, there were a lot of reactions to it. I mean, similar to what happened here. And I saw your write-up about what the president did. What are your grievances about the action of the Council of State yesterday?
Well, like you rightly pointed out, Section 175 of the Constitution vests in the President the power to grant clemency, pardon, reduction, and all of that, as you heard the Honorable the Attorney General of the Federation has said. Two prominent persons featured in that state of affair And these two prominent persons are two governors or two former governors of our states. And we're all very much aware of the reasons why they were arraigned before the court, why the courts convicted them, their appeals were dismissed and affirmed by the apex court of the land, which is the Supreme Court. And all of the charges bordered on what is called corruption. These are people who are politically exposed persons in our society. Now, when I heard Professor Kingsley Mogulu talking about corruption, one of the greatest things that has retarded the progress of this country, indeed, for me, the greatest and the best business enterprises in Nigeria today is corruption. So when I heard that the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria agreed either to reduce or to pardon these two former chief executives, I weep for this country. And the reason is very simple. The mattress for which this government came to power is to fight corruption. And it is because of this fighting of corruption that agencies like EFCC, ICPC, and other security operative agencies were set up. And if you look at Section 15, subsection 2 or so of our Constitution, the duty of government and Nigerian government, which is constitutionalized, is to fight and eradicate corruption. That's why ICPC, for instance, drives its constitutional validity when the law was promulgated. When Ogun State, for instance, government went to court to challenge the promulgation of the ICPC Act in 2000, the Supreme Court affirmed it. And the Supreme Court agreed that corruption has become so cancerous and becomes a cankerworm in Nigerian society that all hands must be on deck to fight it. So why am I so upset by that decision? One, the former governor of Plateau State had his appeal dismissed in March 2021 by the Supreme Court, the highest court of the land. If you also listen very well, in the course of trial, His Lordship, the trial judge, had occasion a threat offer to the the judge, and you are also aware that in this country, President Muhammad Buhari had on series of occasions says that one of the things that is standing his way of fighting corruption is the judiciary. So if the Nigerian judiciary, therefore, that's why I'm a little bit upset and concerned. If the Nigerian judiciary, therefore, at the three tier of the courts, the trial court, the court of appeal, and the Supreme Court, enforce the provisions of the law that deals with question of corruption, and indeed sent these two former state chief executives to prison for corruption, why will the executive, why will the executive arm of government act in sabotage of its own law?
Yeah, I can imagine. So Joshua Dareye, for example, was jailed for stealing Plateau State money of about 2.7 billion naira.
Yes.
And let's probe a few things in which you are interrogating tonight. First and foremost, and these are very quick questions that I like us to, so that people can get it clear. Does the president have the right to grant pardon?
Sure. There is a world of difference between having a right to exercise and exercising that right in abuse of constitutional provision.
Is there an abuse of that right?
Of course. What is the essence of punishment? Is to serve as a deterrent. What it then means is that if you are politically exposed persons, steal, and then the politicians will gather together and give you pardon. Do you know the effect of state pardon? What it means is that the man is no longer an ex-convict. He has the same right that you and I have to vie for any offices in Nigeria, unhindered.
It comes in a clean slate. It's washed clean.
It's as if it has never been convicted. And you mentioned the amount of money that was said to have been stolen, which was proved to have been stolen, belonging to a state called Plateau State. There is another state called Taraba.
Yes.
When you go to those states, these 2 billion you are talking about, was it not sufficient?
Jolly Yame was sentenced to 12 years for stealing 1.6 billion naira of Taraba state funds.
So these are states that are completely backward.
So the question is, I wanted these questions, a few questions, sir, and wanted to clarify. Quick one. Does the president have the right? Under Section 175.
I have said yes.
Yes. Does the president personally put up these names by himself?
Was he under obligation to
No, I'm just asking an innocent question.
There should be an application. There should be an application
presented to him. So then
now if I present application to you, for instance, that I want to work in Channel as a journalist, and you look at my qualification, look at my antecedents, will you employ me, for instance, if my hands is not clean?
So is a matter of an application to the president. One. Two, he has to take it. He cannot do it all by himself. He has to consult the Council of State.
I agree, but
I just want our viewers to be educated on the process. Because the debate over 175, even when the issue of Alamasi here came up, is the fact that it has to be amended such that people are not discriminated.
I am here tonight not because the president did not have the right to do. I am here to say that the exercise of that right was done in abuse of the sensibilities and the current reality, the reasons why Nigerians had massive interest in the president.
Now,
and that is that to fight corruption. Why is ASU on strike? Why do we have good hospitals in Nigeria? Do we have good roads? Not too long ago, Nigerians were going to Kaduna by train. They have the train almost blown off. Some people are still in captivity.
So the question, the reason why I'm raising this issue with you, senior advocates, so just a moment, is that it doesn't look like that the president has only the burden of granting this prerogative of mercy. One, there is an application.
I'm not even blaming only the president.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Those who in the first place recommended to the president.
Then he presented to the Council of State.
Presented to the Council of the State. The Council of States is composed of so many eminent Nigerians. Why do we have to pardon people who were corrupt?
Under the law, can you appeal the powers of the president?
No.
So it's absolute.
It's absolute. It's not the subject.
So it's perhaps one section of the Constitution that there are no exceptions.
The only thing we can do is what we are doing. To let Mr. President and all members of the Council of State know that indeed what they have done is abusing the sensibility and indeed calling us fools. What is the essence of setting up ICPC, EFCC? What is the essence of taking these people to court? If in less than 2 years they are pardoned, why? I have no problem with people, for instance, who were pardoned who committed the coup that was led by late Gideon Oka, or the coup that was alleged to have been plotted by General Dia and so on. Because from 1990 till date, they may have learned their lesson. What is the essence of punishment?
What is the implication of the import of this kind of prerogative?
The import is that nobody will take the government serious that they are fighting corruption. Nobody will also, in fact, for me, what it has done is to encourage that each and every one of us should engage, Nigerians should engage in corruption. You steal, I steal, everybody steal, until there's nothing to steal again, then we come to our right senses. Because if somebody had been...
That would lead us to a banana republic.
Of course, because that's where we are. Are we not there? Because if somebody has stolen, and the 3-tier courts in Nigeria had found the person guilty, their lordships spent hours, nights, burning the candle in the absence of electricity to read and come with sound jurisprudential decision to help the government fight corruption, and the same government act in sabotage of its own program and policies, and you are saying Nigeria should be happy and climb for them. Yes, you have a right to do. The fact that you have a right to do what you like does not mean you must do what will offend the sensibilities of Nigeria. That is the quarrel.
Unfortunately, there's no judicial review to this section.
There is no judicial review. Indeed, in this one, it's like the provisions of the Constitution that gives the Attorney General of either the state or the Federation to eternally prosecute. They are law unto themselves. And it is now time for our lawmakers to begin to look at the provisions of our Constitution bordering on prerogative of mercy. When do you grant prerogative of mercy to somebody who has been accused of economic crimes?
I think you can propose a private bill to the National Assembly for you
are just talking as if you are not a Nigerian.
I am a Nigerian.
The problem is that
when you are suggesting that we should amend,
I am worried. I just hope that this your program, another program organized by the fourth estate of the realm, the people in government listen to us, because it appears to me that Nigerian government across board seems to be law unto themselves. They possess this knowledge of what appears to be important to science. They know everything all. They don't take the
if
force and the
feeling. If you have one advice to President Buhari, who has the power either to withdraw or to
I will advise him.
What would you say?
I will advise Mr. President that what this acceptance of this recommendation for these two persons who were found guilty of corruption, he should withdraw it. Nigerians
can he do
happy.
it at this stage after the approval of the Council of State?
Well, why can't he do it? I gave you appointment. I said I'm no longer appointing you. I withdraw the appointment. What's wrong with it?
All right.
Because the mattress upon which this president came to power is to fight corruption, and he blamed the judiciary.
Does this action make a mess of that?
Of course it does, because in fact it will discourage some people who have made up their mind to assist the government to prosecute corrupt officials at less cost. It will discourage the security agencies who are to investigate corrupt officials, because after all, if we investigate and prosecute them, send them to jail, you will wake up one night and say there is application for prerogative of mercy, and then you are now pardoning them to go and be a free man and free woman, breathing free air in Nigerian soil, contesting political offices. We must divorce politics from constitutionalism. And what I see them do here is purely political, that has no correlation at all with the vast majority interest of Nigerian people. This shows how offensive Nigerians are. Go to social media and you will see that Nigerians are upset by that decision.
All right. Thank you so much, Senior Advocate Jibrin Okutakwa, for your voice on this matter. Thank you indeed.
Thank you, Shehu. I just hope that the Nigerian government will not continue to call us fools.
All right. Thank you so much. Well, Nigerian government, you have heard. Well, that's how we leave it tonight. Many thanks, everyone, for watching. I'm Shehu Akimale. Bye for now.
Thank you so much for your patience to watch from the beginning to the end. I hope you have learned something from the video you have just watched. The video you have just watched is to bring information to your doorstep and for educational purpose. It is not to demonize anybody. Let us watch continuously and see who can be able to make a sense out of every nonsense we are seeing. We must continue. We move. It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter what they say. They will kill us. We will kill them. At the end of the day, Biafra is here. Thank you for watching. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please kindly subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell so that you're notified each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. Thank you and remain blessed. Bye-bye. See you again.